After days of travelling, we're finally seeing the big giant heads. Yeah, I don't feel like going now. What do you think? Should we go?
We've driven a quarter of the way across a fairly large country, so we are going to see those heads properly. The woman's plate just says say yes to Jess.
Yes! It's very patriotic. I'm going to quietly sing the national anthem. God save our gracious Queen.
And who's on it?
George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, someone else. We're finally here. After 5 days, we finally got here. This is the monument at Mount Rushmore, and it's the monument that General Zod and his cronies defaced in the film Superman 2. It was also in some other film called North by Northwest, but I haven't seen that yet. My favourite's Thomas Jefferson, because he stopped America having silly things like lords and ladies. You'd have like the Earl of Poughkeepsie if it wasn't for this man. There were some children crying. I think they were unpatriotic children. I think they were just too warm, weren't they?
It is quite warm.
Yeah. Maybe they'll add Hillary Clinton. If anyone has any thoughts on that subject, please write in. They said it was 250 steps. They lied. We finally got to the top, the nearest point you can get to this monument, so we've got some pictures for Instagram. Bye-bye, heads.
We're at Crazy Horse. We wanted to see if there was any progress since I was last here 20 years ago. Not really. So we decided not to go in because it's a little bit pricey.
It was $22 for one head, whereas you get $11 for 4 heads.
So we are in Pringle, South Dakota, next to a very cool car.
It's the elk capital of South Dakota. We're in a proper American bar, and they've got a pool table, and they have signs about the positive effects of guns. This looks amazing here. It just looks really good. Yeah, so now we're recording.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We're all going to be on YouTube.
Oh, great.
These dollar bills above the bar. There we go, we put $1 up. Well, we've just left the bar in Pringle, and even though this is the middle of nowhere, but this is a nicer middle of nowhere than other middles of nowhere. It's got a lovely forest, and it's green, and it's not flat. It's very nice. I approve.
We are in the last city in South Dakota. Chris, what did you think of South Dakota?
It started off like Minnesota, that it was flat, but then it became hilly. It's very touristy. It's quite expensive to live in. A lot of the towns are essentially tourist towns. No, it was alright. It was quite nice, very long. I didn't think that we'd be spending that much time travelling. So a couple of plus points for South Dakota, that's over Minnesota, is one, you can do 80 miles an hour on the interstate, and the other thing is that they seem to be less uptight about alcohol laws, so it's easier to buy alcohol. We're crossing over to Wyoming. Wyoming has less than 600,000 people. It's the least populated state. There's already quite a lot of flies. There's so little here, it's unbelievable. The only thing I've seen is cows, and now our windscreen is covered in flies. We've been driving for so long, there's just like the occasional cowboy, maybe, sometimes.
We picked the place that we're going because they have a grocery store. That was our criteria, and it was hard to fulfill.
This is the first bit of civilization in Wyoming that we found. It's the city of Lusk.
It looks very, very small. I mean, there wasn't even really a town on the border. It was just a sign.
This looks a bit like the Wild West. We have half-decent Wi-Fi. It's 1400 kilobits a second down, which is all right, and actually it's not that good, but it's still better than the last place. So Super 8 in
Douglas, Wyoming.
They're very